You are now tuned in to your number one radio station,
87.9.
We interrupt this program for a special report by WKMU.
Staten Island, New York. Can't sleep, neither can we. This is what keeps me up at night, taking over the radio waves to bring you mind-blowing information and inspiration. We look it up so you don't have to. Over here, we love talking about the unidentified, the unimaginable, the unbelievable anomalies of this world and beyond, which is just a fancy way to say aliens. Ever heard of Project Blue Book? Well, neither have I, so let's get into it.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sky.
And I'm Blue.
And welcome to another episode of What Keeps Me Up at Night.
We're so happy you're here listening to us.
Have you actually never heard of Blue Book before, the Project Blue Book?
Not really, no, but that was way before my time, I think.
Way before my time, too.
Oh, yeah?
Did you know it had to do with aliens?
Yeah, I mean, no. Hearing the name, no. I had no idea what it was.
So,
just based off the name.
Before we go into this, I want to remind everybody listening, ridicule is not part of the scientific method. And that was actually said by a ufologist who was a non-believer and then a believer. I'll go into him another time. But basically, this started as a project by the U.S. government and the Air Force to monitor UFOs.
Okay.
Back in World War II, there were things called Foo Fighters. And they were like these lights that were following around everybody's aircraft. They really didn't know what it was, but they didn't bother the planes or anything like that. They didn't attack. They just kind of like monitored the situation.
Okay.
So because of this, the government originally had this look on it. Well, we don't think they're from here. Let's get as much information as we can and tell everybody about these things because, they were worried about, them harming us. But through all these sightings that they had during the war, no one was ever hurt. So they kind of felt like maybe they're not here to bother us. So this all started as a way for the government to research this stuff, find out what they can about it, where it came from, and keep us aware.
I wonder why they felt the need to keep us in the loop. Like, I don't know.
Well, why not tell us if it affects us?
I feel like they don't tell us. Like, if you want to find the information, you'll find it, but they're not just going to put it out there for people to hear. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, you know how, like, wood pulp is in Parmesan cheese? They're not going to tell you that.
That's true.
But it's not like it's hidden information either.
Well, they name it cellulose or whatever.
Cellulose powder.
If you see cellulose powder in your cheese, that's wood pulp.
Yeah.
That's actual fact.
We love our wood pulp over here.
Oh, yeah, we make spaghetti together. I forgot all about it.
Well, you didn't put any wood pulp in it, but it's okay.
So, eventually, this program kind of shut down. There was actually even like one of those scientific committees that came together and said, this is the way we have information about it. Basically, UFOs aren't bothering us. We don't know where they came from. So this is the line for everybody. They're not bothering us. We don't know where they're coming from. We don't know who they are. This turned into a Project Grudge, who started to change their looks on things. Because now they were worried about our safety. Like, they're not attacking us now, but they're actually making them, as they can see, as they say, they can actually see that they're making themselves more aware to us. And that got them spooked. So they were basically like grudges to do two things: find out about where they come from and don't let anybody know about it.
Okay.
That only lasted for a little bit, and then eventually it became Project Blue Book, which was a continuation of the two goals: find out where they come from, do they mean us any harm, don't let the people know about it.
So it just all started with these lights following some planes.
Originally, yeah, I think that's where like part of it comes from. It's like they want to know, and then they actually started to pop up here in America, and they started seeing like Roswell was around 1947. There was a bunch of other stuff too, and actually in May 1949, project saucer grudge, whatever they called it at that time, they received a tip off about where UFOs are coming from, and they actually received a letter from a shareholder of a business that they say they were building ships similar to the flying saucers. And according to him, someone invented a disc rotorcraft, and then this could be what can be construed as UFOs. So they finally where they're coming from. They're not from extraterrestrial. They're from here, and they went down there and they were like looking at his stuff. He's like, nah, this can't be it. These things will fly in Europe. They're here. They're going to Russia. This thing's not even leaving this little property right here. So
Yeah.
right away they were like, nope, that's not it. It was false hope. And
wow.
yeah,
That's fucked up.
yeah. Imagine getting your like, we finally figured it out. We know who's gonna do it. We know where this coming from. This guy. Oh no, this is crap. This is not it.
Yeah. It's weird because, like, now you see lights in the sky and it's like, you don't know what that is. And it could be like the aliens coming back. Like, I wonder if back then that was the first time the aliens came to check us out. Maybe. You know what I mean? And
Well, my take on this. I feel like there's a possibility that we've had interactions with aliens for thousands of years, and that there's actually a missing link in our what is it called? Our evolutionary path.
yeah.
There's actually a missing link. And what if that missing link is because it's not from Earth or it's from the water? It's these crafts that have been visiting us for thousands of years, maybe even longer.
Yeah.
They could have been coming seeing dinosaurs and look like, oh, they're not gonna do anything. All right, bye.
Or they were scared of the dinosaurs. How people are scared of pit bulls now and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, those are much bigger, and I'll be afraid of that too.
I would be fascinated. Like, I don't know. I would be like, whoa. And then it would eat my head off.
So basically, Project Grudge changed it up a little bit, and instead of being open, they kind of went to silence, and it was because they were worried that reports could be exploited by people trying to induce panic in a post-World War II America. This could be foreign countries like Russia and stuff like that trying to mess with us. So they were like, you know what, let's not let people know, because then someone else can use that information against us.
yeah. Find us in a weak spot.
Or, then they're constantly hounded by hoax, because look how people are now. Anything for clout. Clout back then was still clout. It was much smaller. But, like, if you could get, like, people to believe that you actually see UFO, and now you're getting your name out in the paper and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And they also have to worry about people who already have psychological problems. Especially like people with schizophrenia and stuff like that are told that things that they see aren't real. And now, one of the things that they think aren't real is now real. It might cause even like people who are semi-sane to start questioning their lives.
Kind of like us right now.
I always question my life. It's always good to do that. So finally, in 1952, in March, till December 17th, 1969, Project Blue Book was implemented and ended, and it only had two goals: to see if we had to worry about them, if they harmed us, if it was national security.
Security.
Is that how I really say security?
Security.
That's how it spells. I don't know. Leave me alone. And to scientifically analyze UFOs to see where they came from, what kind of power they use, if we can use that power for ourselves. And after all that time, 12,618 reports were made. And this is also a time period where the U.S. Air Force was actually shaming people for coming, and they still do. Like the guy I don't know if everyone remembers the Kimball UFO. It was seen by a air pilot, and he followed it, and he went back, and they kind of ridiculed, oh, you saw something up there? And he has video proof. So this is back in the time when you didn't have video proof. So they wanted you to come in like, oh, how big was it? How fast was it going? Where they saw this in the Project Blue Book release. There's like a questionnaire. It's like 7, 8, 12 pages long, asking questions over and over again. Was it dark? Was it moon? Was it this? Was it that? And then afterwards, make fun of you for coming forward to saying that you've seen this, which I think could, stem these numbers, even higher. What if they would have went higher if someone didn't say, "Oh, you're stupid. Oh, you're a little green alien. Oh, your little spaceship followed you around. Are you okay? Did he shoot at you?"
That's fucked up. I could see them doing that though.
And out of all of those, only 701 were actually said to be unexplainable. That's only 5%. But I feel like 5% can make magic in the world. That's all I need is like a small percentage. That's fine because they can't explain. Everything else was like other planes. You know, the government actually had planes and other stuff that we didn't know about. So people were like, "What's this weird flying thing?" They had a stealth jet. You know, they were designing. It was black. It made didn't make the same sounds. It's really weird to be in that time period where there's no internet, there's no way to verify stuff, and you see stuff,
Yeah.
and like, who are you supposed to tell?
How can you Google this?
Yeah. Like, I can't Instagram this picture. Like, how am I supposed to let people know I'm not crazy?
Right. How can you talk about it to millions of listeners out there?
Do you actually know where the term flying saucer comes from?
I don't know. The movie E.T.? I don't know.
Back in June 24th, 1947, Kenneth Arnold saw a line of UFOs. There were 9 shiny vehicles with no tails, and they were flying past Mount Rainier.
What do they mean by no tails?
Well, you ever notice that on planes there's tails on the back that stick straight up, and there's 2 on the side? That's to stabilize the craft. So without a tail, there's nothing to keep it stabilized. Like, you always will see, even on the stealth bomber, like 2 thin blades that pop off the sides.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's to keep it stable. So what he's basically saying is he doesn't know what's keeping them stable because they were going 1,200 miles per hour by his math.
Oh, wow.
And this all started because he was on his way home, and the U.S. government actually lost a plane, and he was trying to give him a hand by doing a couple run-throughs and help them look. And as he turned around to go back home, that's when he saw these things. And I believe this is in Washington. That's where Mount Rainier is. I'm pretty sure it's Washington. I don't know why I didn't write that down.
You want me to look it up?
Yeah, please do. Because I feel so stupid for not even like having that information. Like, where is that?
Yeah, you stupid.
So he estimated that the speeds were going at least 1,200 miles per hour. I brought that up because to show reference, October Mount Rainier. Don't interrupt me. This actually to show reference of how fast these things were, because in October 1947, Chuck Yeager flew the Bell X-1 700 miles per hour, the first time anyone's been that fast, any human anyway. And the biplanes of the time were going 50 miles per hour to like 100 miles per hour. Even the P-51 Mustang, which is like considered one of the better aircraft that came out of World War II, could only go like 300 miles per hour. And he said that they were looking like they were. You ever have like a teacup and a saucer? He said if you take the teacup off and throw it against the water and how it skips, that's how they were moving. They were moving erratically, but in a straight line.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he wanted to tell everybody. He actually wound up, telling the newspaper. He actually started to doing some UFO studies on himself. Actually, like anytime they actually sent him one time, some magazine sent him down to look at a UFO thing. And so, yeah, that's why we call them flying saucers. Other people used that term before, but this was actually the first big post-World War II UFO sighting in America that hit national news like it did. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was a Captain Thomas Mantell. I feel like this guy got a really bum deal. He was serving his country, and this event happened. So basically, on January 7th, in 1948, 25-year-old Captain Thomas Mantell was called in because the government said that, hey, there's something over here. Like a local airport mentioned that they see something going pretty fast up in the clouds, pretty high up. So they called in the Air Force to check it out, and Mantell was one of the people who came in, and he actually sees it, and he flies up into the clouds to chase it. And, he was in there for a while. His buddies returned, landed, came back up. He crashed like a ways off. His whole vehicle was destroyed, paneled, you know what I'm saying? Like, and what's the little pieces called?
Shreds?
Yeah, it was shredded. Basically, it was shredded. And, the official story at first was that he saw the planet Venus and mistaken that for something that was going hundreds of miles per hour high in the sky.
Okay.
How would you feel if I was in the Air Force and I got called in by my government to check something out because it could be a threat to national security? So I go up and check it out, and I fly after it, and I die. And the government turns around and says he was chasing a planet because the planet was so bright that he mistaken that for what we saw. The official story got switched later that he actually was chasing a skyhook balloon that was going like 10 miles per hour. So I don't know how you would mistake something going 10 miles per hour for something going hundreds of miles per hour.
That's very suspicious. Very suspicious.
Yeah, it's a little sad. I feel this one kind of hit me a little hard because I don't know if I can ever give my life up for a country, no matter how good it is, because this is my only life. And to feel like that connection with the country that you were raised in, that you want to protect it and all your loved ones, and you were just doing your job, and they were just basically like, "Nah, he's crazy, man. He was going after he was going after a planet."
It's fucked up. It's definitely fucked up. But I'm not surprised by the way our government behaved. Like, I don't know. They're always doing some fucked up shit, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then when you add this into a bunch of other stuff, like JFK, like that was done in the '60s. The space race popped off. Like we literally learned how to fly in the early 1900s, and then 60 years later we're on the moon.
Right.
How? How in 60 years? Since
I'm
we went to the
still
moon, the
shocked we
biggest
get
thing
up
we got
there.
is phones. Like I mean,
Yeah.
phones are great, but like that was 60 years worth of time.
No, it's pretty crazy when you think about it like that. Yeah. Like the internet was only 23 years ago, right?
Really?
Right? Am I getting that confused? Or the internet was longer than that?
No, I think the internet came out in the 80s, the original.
Oh, okay.
It didn't pop off until like the mid 90s with like home computers
But
getting
if
access
even
to
that,
it.
that's like 50, 60 years. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
long time.
and that's
Or
all
that's
computer
like,
stuff.
a short amount of time too at the same time.
And you know what always thought was weird with these things too is like all the reports back then were that they were keeping up with it, and then eventually would fly away. So I feel like they're like playing with us because our jets now can go Mach 1, Mach 2. Like, yeah, this is really fast. We're talking about 1,000 miles per hour,
Mhm.
and they're still not being able to go faster than these things. So did they have a time lapse in the last 60 years where they finally figured out their technology? Like, oh man, we could get it really fast now. Like, or is that the best it could do? And it was just messing with us to see what we could do and to even worry about us. Why did you look at me like that, you freaking weirdo? And we went into this because of the I guess last year was the Las Vegas alien sightings and then the Miami one. And even the one from last year where we shot down the 3 UFOs, have we heard anything about that since then?
What are you talking about?
Remember last year? Over Canada and Alaska and I think Montana or Michigan, one of those America planes shot down 3 unidentified flying objects. They were all, I think, classified to be balloons. We actually had an episode right after this happened. Me and you, Red, was joking around like it's always the balloons. like this guy Mantell, they said he died running after a balloon. Were you looking it up?
Yeah. In 2022?
Yeah. 23, 22? I forget. I'm getting so old. These years are starting to blend in together.
It says there was nobody in the vehicles.
But what kind of vehicles were they?
Unidentified aerial objects.
So wait, they're saying they found stuff with no bodies in it?
I think they're trying to say is a balloon. Oh, no. This happened days after the Chinese surveillance balloon.
Yeah, that was considered to be 1 or 2 of them. But the one in Alaska seemed to be like a different thing. Which would make sense because if aliens are here, they probably send AI, no? Like a ship without anybody in it. So even if it got shot down, Can't find nothing, right?
No.
So the people in Las Vegas, they disappeared. The Miami thing seemed to go nowhere, but I don't think the Miami thing was a real thing. And we mentioned Blue Book last couple of episodes, so I just wanted to go into a bit to fully get aware, because even me only had like a passing knowledge of this stuff. And I definitely want to do a couple more UFO stories. So if we are, I actually am going to start using Blue Book's their own project, some of their personal files and stuff like that, to go into some of these stories. These two were actually number 12, and I don't know the other one, but these were actually both part of the Project Blue Book listing of UFO sightings. And I
Okay.
thought that was pretty interesting. So,
It was. I appreciate it.
well, I wanted to be talking about aliens all the time. I I don't know. The belief that aliens are out there makes me believe in a spiritual being, and I don't know why that is.
That's something to think about.
I think part of it is the fact that, like I said, like 5%. If only 5% of all these stories is true, the world is magical again. Then 5% of religion stuff could be true too.
Yeah.
Like and I definitely feel like we live in a world where we don't know what's going on completely, and I'm just trying to figure everything out. But I feel like a deeper connection, knowing that we're not alone in this universe. And,
That's nice.
yeah. I mean, God could create all of us.
It's quite beautiful.
There was actually a story from one of these aliens that survived the crashes, and they say that from the future, and that we're heading into disaster, basically. And I don't know why I brought this up. What were we talking about?
Extra beings. uh, religion.
I think I soured by religion because of man. Like, it's a transcript of God, and words can have different meanings to different people. Like when you teach me Spanish, those same words can have different meanings to people with different dialects.
Yeah.
And I feel like this, like, the Bible and other books can be like that, where I'm not really sure what I'm learning, but knowing that I don't know. I don't want to go into a circle.
FBI, open up!
Oh fuck! We're gonna have to jump out the window.
Again?
Yeah.
I'm too big for this.
Well, eventually you'll the weight will drop off.
Come on.
And it'll get easier every time.
I don't know why we do this. Why don't we just change locations every week? Why don't we stay at the same place? This makes no sense. They keep finding us. Just leave the pets. I'm tired of this. And it's me, Sky, whatever. I'll see you guys later.
Oh my gosh! Bye, y'all.
And yeah, as always,
Check on your friends and check on yourself.
and everyone deserves love, even you.
Bye. This has been an 87.9 WKMU production. Signing off.
This concludes our broadcast day. Good night, and God bless America.